What's up? Hey, people. Hey. So, I'm about to do another garden tour, but also I want to talk to you guys a little lesson. I'm gonna do the garden tour really quickly. But yeah, so just to give you guys some background, it's been raining here for about the last 12 days, and it actually just got finished raining. And so I'm coming out here real quick before the rain comes back tonight. It's been over 100 or so hours before we were able to, since we saw blue skies. It's been like very cloudy. I think it was 120 something hours it's been like that. So you guys can see what's up. Last time, you guys, look at all of my trees are fully coming in. Jungle out there. If you look at my last videos, all my trees were not in. They're all in. So let me give you a quick tour, real quick, and then I got to teach you guys something. So don't go anywhere, please. So lemon balm's filling out. Sweet mint's filling out. My comfrey is getting real big. Curly parsley, cilantro. I gotta end up cutting this because it looks like it might try to bolt on me. See how it starts? For newbies, when you talk about bolting, that normally happens when the plant stops like bushing out like that and it starts to grow straight up. The stems will get woody, and as you can notice the difference in the leaves here. See that there? And then but the leaves used to look like that there. So to stop that, we just top it off, cut it down here, and then it'll grow up into a bush. Okay, that's the flat parsley. Rosemary is trying to take over this whole pot. Thyme, sage, dill's not doing too good. I'm probably going to end up moving it out of that and put it in its own pot. Okay, look at this. I'm getting decimated. You saw those last time you saw me, I did those. I showed you guys the little bugs that was eating my plants. Well, it's been raining since then. And here's one of the difficult things when you're doing organic gardening. The rain is amazing, but depending on what you're growing, especially your brassicas, so that's everything in the cabbage family. That's the cabbage, your kale, your collards, your broccoli, your cauliflower, all of that stuff, Brussels sprouts. When it rains consistently and hard for days on top of an end, that will allow these plants to grow really big. So that's the good thing. The problem, though, is if you have an infestation of those bugs, if you're growing organically, there's really no way to stop those bugs from infesting. And that's because all the stuff that you'll put on your stuff, any kind of powders or any kind of sprays or anything like that, they have to set up on your plant for a good few hours and last a little bit before they actually can be effective. And in my situation, where it's raining consistently for 12 days straight, nothing, if I come out here right now and spray these things, and then in, let's see, what time is it? It's 4:22 now. Rains will be back here at 6 o'clock. That's not enough time for that stuff to be effective. The rains are going to come and just wash all of that stuff off, and then the bugs have a field day. Okay, so that's the disadvantage. So I'm getting decimated here with my cabbages. You know what I mean? And that's going to be part of this lesson that I'm going to teach you guys today. Real quick, you see my collard greens decimated. My kales look wonderful. I just picked a whole bunch of this lettuce because they were growing like monstrous, and I haven't been able to come out and pick it because it's been raining. So as soon as we got a break, I came out, chopped all this stuff up. I'm gonna make a few bags of big bags of lettuce for us, as well as some family members, and that's gonna be it. And look at my kale patch over here. Look at this. This is just, I can't ask for better kale than this, especially when it's organic. Come on, you guys. Go to Whole Foods, go to Trader Joe's, go to your market and look at the kale that's organic and look at the price. That's all I want to say. Oh, real quick, let me show you before I get into this lesson. Yes, potatoes. They're coming all the way up. So now I'm going to start topping those off when I get a second. Okay? All right, now, cabbages on the front getting decimated on this side. All these are getting beautiful. Have not been able to plant my tomatoes, and look how much they've grown because I sat them out here and they've just been getting watered on. These things are getting huge, so I got to plant them. Those are sunflowers. All right, so lesson for the day. Newbies, okay? This is going to be about what should you plant, okay? When you're dealing with space, when you only have small amount of space and you're thinking about what should you plant, first thing you always do want to think about what do you like to eat, of course, right? But I like to say grow things that are continual harvesting veggies, especially when you have small space. Example. So this lettuce here, right? Everybody knows there's a couple ways you can grow the lettuce. So lettuce is growing here. If I wanted to harvest this, I don't have to take the head up like I did here. I could literally just peel off leaves from around, and the lettuce it grows from the middle. It will continue to grow, continue to grow, continue to grow. That one piece of lettuce right there, that one lettuce plant will continue to grow for me. I cut these down at the base. Why? Because they will start growing from the sides. That's what lettuce is. It's a continual harvesting veggie. This Swiss chard here, I cut a couple of these Swiss chard already. I cut the bigger leaves off there and they're soaking, but look at my Swiss chard. That stuff that was dying, you guys, when I first planted it, look at this. Look at how beautiful this Swiss chard looks. It's a continual harvesting veggie. What do? I just cut it down at the base here. You can see where I cut a couple. You cut them and it continues to grow. My cabbage, right? These are collard greens. All these collard greens are getting decimated, right? But I don't really care, and it's not really that big of a deal, even though it looks bad. These are collards. Collards are actually a continual harvesting veggie. I can cut off all those bad looking leaves and these plants will continue to grow. Brand new leaves. I have no problem with that. Kale. My kale is looking really good. There are some plants that got a little ate up. I can't see them now. But there may be a little hole or two that you might find in a kale. You can see it in my dino kale more. So a plant like this, you see that? Well, I can cut this off and this plant will continue to grow. So continual harvesting veggie, not a problem. But let's look at these cabbages here. And I'm running into a real problem with the cabbages. Why? Because that cabbage is supposed to form a head, and once that head forms, you just take the whole cabbage and then that plant is done. Well, when you have an infestation of bugs like I'm having right now, when they start eating at this head won't necessarily grow the way it's supposed to because they're eating it. So if I could be putting a whole lot of work into these and actually not get anything out of that. Whereas even if some bugs start eating some of these up, I can cut those leaves off and grow fresh ones. So when you have a whole lot of space growing something like these cabbages, if you lose a couple, it's not that big a deal to you. But if you are a new gardener and you only have a little bit of space, if you had to make a choice on whether you're going to grow some collards, some kale, or some cabbage, I'm going to say go with the collards or the kale. Why? Because they are continual harvesting veggies. These are not. But everything it takes to grow one of these, they take the same amount. They take the same amount of nutrients. They require the same amount of sun. They require the same amount of space, everything. But those will last you forever. In the summertime, they're a little more tender, a little more bitter, not quite bitter, like really, really bitter, depending on the kind that you get. And so, you just keep them, cut them while they're young. Don't let them get really, really big, right? But these will last soon as the fall comes. These things will last until a hard snow. That means it's possible that these can be actually growing all the way until January in my area. I planted these things in April and they can go all the way to January. These things are going to be picked next month. And then they're gone. Then I have to replace that space. These things will be with me till January. The collards over there till January. The Swiss chard over there till January. The lettuce is it won't hang when it gets too hot. So I only have these until possibly a little bit, maybe next month. We'll see what they do. And that's about it. Spinach is another continual harvesting veggie. You can cut on this spinach and it will keep coming, keep coming, keep coming until it gets too hot, because spinach don't like it really when it's real hot. So that's the only reason they will stop. So if you grow them early in the spring or if you grow them in the fall, they will continue to go. That's a good use of space there. Again, so hopefully you newbies are picking up what I'm putting down here. Cabbages, broccoli, cauliflower, those things are big. They grow. You gotta wait to harvest them, and when you harvest them, they're one and done. Instead of picking something like that, if you have the space to do it, go ahead. But if you had to choose, go with something that's going to give you more bang for your buck, continual harvesting. Okay? That's why things like tomatoes, peppers, things like that, they are good things to grow, because they keep giving you more, and that's what you want. So that's the lesson, guys. I gotta hurry up. I only got probably about an hour and a half, and I gotta pick a whole bunch of this kale. We're having some kale for dinner tonight. I gotta pick a whole bunch of this kale before the rains come back and wash me out. All right, guys. I'm y'all pray for me. I don't know what I'm gonna do with these cabbages. All right, peace.